Welcome to the third episode of Real-Time HTML project series. So today we'll be building a HTML contact form that could send emails without the need for separate email client. So this is the form. So I'm adding my name, my email and subject and test email message. So on submitting the form, it will send the details to the configured email. So this is my email, and if you see, this is the message that I've got. So all you need is a pen and a paper or a laptop with Visual Code installed on it. Let's dive into the project. So the first step would be creating a HTML file. Let's name HTML contact form.html. So on inserting the exclamation, it will create a HTML content for you. So we will be adding a HTML form element here. So form is a HTML element that is a document section which contains the field for submitting the form data. So here it has two important attributes. One is method, another one is action. Method will be of three different types. One is post, another one is get, and another one is dialog. So post method is the one which will take the form data and send those as a HTML request. Get is the method that retrieves the data as a HTML response. So here we will be giving post method, and one more attribute is action. So this attribute is used to process the form data. So here we will be taking a PHP file named send.php. We'll come back to this part later as well. Let's add an external CSS resource link element which will be used to style the HTML contact form that we'll be creating with. So the relationship would be style sheet, and the file name would be style.css. We'll come back to this part as well a little later. So we'll be adding a label element with a for attribute being the name of the input type text box that we'll be creating with. So let it be for name, and let's create text box which will be input type of text with ID name, and we need name attribute as well here. Why? Because so we want the name attribute to be present for all the fields that we want data to be submitted with. Otherwise HTML request will not consider those fields as a submittable ones. And let's have a placeholder of enter your name. Give you hint to the user. And this is a required field, and so I'm adding required. So let's do the same for email and for subject and for message as well. So let me change this to email and here as well. So ID and name, they both are gonna to be email. Enter your email, and this is gonna to be subject everywhere. And the final one would be message, and this is going to be text area, not the input one. So text area, and this doesn't need any type attribute. Let it be message, and name is still needed here. placeholder, enter your message here, and this as well, as we had filled all the necessary data here. And now we'll be styling this HTML with external CSS file name style.css. So first let's style the form element. So here let's add a display flex attribute with a flex direction of column, and let's the maximum width be 600 pixels, and let's keep the margin as 0 auto. And then let's style the body with a background color of your own choice. So I'm going to give that, and post that let's style the label element, which will have margin top of 10 pixel and font weight of bold and font color be white. And then let's style input type of text and input type of email and text area as well. Let these three have margin bottom of 20 pixels, padding of 10 pixels, and border radius of 5 pixels with border of given color of your choice. Let me choose this one, and font size of 16 pixel. And only for text area, let's keep the height as, let's say, 150 pixel. And for input type equal to submit, which is a button, let's have a background color green, which falls under this value, and font color of white, obviously, padding 10 pixel, 20 pixel, border radius of 5 pixel, border none, font size of 16 pixel, cursor to be of pointer header, and on hover effect of this particular button, let it be with different background color, different green, which would be 3E8E41. We didn't add submit button here, which we missed, so which will be input type of submit, and let the value be also submit. Okay, so let's refresh and see. Here we go. So this would be our final look of the contact form that we had designed. So the next step would be scripting or writing the PHP file. Since PHP programming is not our interest here, I'll fill that file for you and explain so that you can understand. So this is going to be something like this, okay, where the values of name, email, subject and message will be retrieved from the HTTP request, and we'll be setting whom we have to send email to. And these headers are pretty important because it contains from and whom to reply to and the mailer. So in this PHP script, the important function is this mail, which will be sending the email to the SMTP server that we'll be setting with. So it contains 3 background configuration steps. One is installing the PHP server, so where I have installed XAMPP server, which is pretty trivial. I'll give the link of the server down there so that you can install. So post your installation, you have to launch the XAMPP control panel like this here, and you have to start the Apache service so that all the service or functionalities related to sending email will be live. So there are 2 more things that you have to do. One is setting up the SMTP server details in the php.ini, which will be setting smtp.gmail.com and the port, and they do have an utility to send email using this send email.exe. So you have to fill these 2 parameters as well. So from where you want to send the email from and what is the command line path. You could find this php.ini under this XAMPP folder that you'll be setting up with XAMPP php php.ini. There's one more ini file which is from XAMPP sendmail.ini, where you have to set your actual email credentials. That is what step number 3. So you have to set an app password. I'll give the link down how you can set up your app password as well. So it won't take your raw email password in the ini. So you have to set up the app password and configure it here. So even here you have to set the port and SMTP server, and this is the auth username and password. This password will be different for you. So once you have set up, your background is ready. Here it's better to restart your server, otherwise it won't take your modified file. Make sure you have saved everything, okay, and start it. So one more important thing, you have to have all your HTML content inside the XAMPP folder so that it will be considered server content. So here if you see this, I'm keeping it inside htdocs. So that's what they're instructing us to keep HTML contents with. So if you are not keeping inside, that won't be working. So I've kept all the content inside that, and I have restarted the XAMPP. When I go into localhost and the name of the folder contactform, it will list me all the content inside the folder. So I'm clicking it here. So let me give my name, ID, and at 1:35 p.m. So submit. So it has to say exact message in my email. Okay, your mail has been sent. See. So hope this project might be useful for you. So if so, share it with your friends and colleagues. I'll meet you with another great content next time. Until then, take care. Bye bye.